G'day folks, my name's John. We've got a 7-acre hobby farm in northern New South Wales, Australia, and I thought we might like a bit of a tour around. Here we go. This is the front of the property. I'm just going to walk through into the paddock. Paddock's a couple of acres. Chickens free range around here all day. I think Freddie, he's a Transylvanian naked neck rooster. Not the prettiest of birds, well I quite like him. But he's a good boy, good to his girls, looks after them, afraid of nothing. Other girls there, there's a dozen chicks there. They tend to get up under the trees. Here's Dottie, she's an Ancona. They get under the trees there, bit of protection, out of the sun too of course. They'll be coming into our fall or our autumn here. We still get days up around the 30-degree mark. As you can see, plenty of grass. We're in a hot, we're in the subtropics here, and we get high rainfall. Just for instance, last year we had 2.4 metres of rain, or 8 feet, which is above average for us, but not unusual. Okay, well, going on through, we've got the there's 2 houses on the property. This is the old house. This house has been in there 120 years, and it was actually moved to this spot. So how old it actually is, I don't know. The actual square bit in the middle there is the original house, and the 2 bits on either end have been added on. That's the sunroom and the kitchen. Recently painted it. I've got to finish doing the shade cloth around the sides. It's rented out. Bloke renter's been there for a few years now. We give him reasonably cheap rent just so I can use the underneath here as sort of storage for hay and straw, etc, etc. Have a look in there, all the feed and that. Okay, we're on tank water, as you can see. There's a pump underneath, pumps the water up to the house. Tank there, this for the animals. Another smaller tank there. Got the horse shelter here. Until recently we had a really old horse. He was Magnum. He was 35. He was, and I inherited him from a neighbour who was moving on. We had him about 3 or 4 years. But he went in the back, he went in the legs, and we had to have him put down. So that's his shelter, which he hardly used anyway. The sheep and the chickens absolutely love it, which I suppose is the main thing. Over there's a self-sown mandarin tree, which believe it or not, the sheep love mandarins. So when they're ripe, they'll eat them whole or peeled or whatever. And some years we can get quite a lot of mandarins on it. And it looks like it's going to be quite a good year this year too. Got a few small green ones there, you can see. Not that many, but a few. Down here we've got the this is the old sheep pen actually. Used to keep the sheep in here, and that was their shelters. But we've got wild dogs around here, or dingoes. We had an attack probably about 10 years ago now. 10-12 years ago, and they got through the fences, attacked the sheep, and I lost one, and a few were injured, and so we moved them out of there. We sort of built that shelter over there in a weekend actually, and I'll show you inside there in a moment. But this is the old sheep pen, it's the old race there. This is I made this in actually the chicken coop. And they only spend the night in there, quite comfortable. There's an egg in there. I might just grab that, because otherwise we'll get the goanna over eating them. So quite comfortable. Main thing is to make it snake proof, so that's why you see the small mesh on the front. One of the biggest predators of poultry around here is the pythons. They can get in, and they can get in the pretty small hole. They'll kill your birds. kill and eat your birds. So we make it python proof. There's a few other snakes get round here. We've got there's an eastern brown snake that lives around here. It's the second most deadly snake in the world. He's about 6 footer. I think he's probably got enough poison in him to kill 100 men. But we've got me and him have got a pretty good relationship. I see him, I go one way, and he goes the other. They're pretty timid snakes, really. All they want to do is get away, and all he's really interested in doing is eating the rats and the mice. So I just leave him to it. There's the old sheep, old Shirley here. She's got a bad leg at the moment. I had the vet out to her, and she's on some anti-inflammatories, but she's still not moving too well. And we'll just see if we can do it without disturbing her. Not sure. There you going. There's Mr. Sonny. He's a friendly old fella. Hey, Sonny. And this is the sheep pen. There's a couple of the old girls. There's 3 Dorpers here, plus Sonny. I don't know what Sonny is. Maybe a white Suffolk or something. Discovered him he was left in a paddock on his own. Spoke to the owners, and he came to retire here. Everybody else, we 5-star accommodation in here. They get cleaned out once a week. Believe in keeping all our animals clean. They all get cleaned out once a week. Ducks, chickens, everybody. Far less respiratory problems, and being in the humidity, we get a lot of fungus and fungal diseases. So it prevents all those. So that's the sheep. There's Barb over the back, Missy and Sonny, and good old Shirley here. Just walk on out. I mow paths through here just so we can actually walk about. The grass grows so fast, You'll notice in a few spots, especially in the moment, that big dead areas of grass, and it's a fungal disease which is affecting certain types of grasses, and you can see see where it's going purple. You can see the purple tops will actually die after that. Other grasses are fine, no problem at all, but anywhere there's been a lot of paspalum, which is the grass affected, you'll see these bare patches, and you can see over here, you see it all sort of dying. Don't know what the answer to that is. I suppose the other grasses will just take over. Okay, over here we got this is the creek, runs through the property. Runs most of the time, can dry up in dry season, which is the winter. But nice little creek, plenty of eels in there. And there's the 2 creek ducks. the old boy in the bank, he's at least 16 years old. We've had him that long, and I don't know how old he was when I got him, maybe a year or 2 old when I got him. And that's his granddaughter with him. He's as blind as a bat. He's got 2 cataracts. He can't, and he's got a big cyst under his neck, but seems happy enough. She guides him down to the creek. Well, he knows his way, really. Once he's down to the creek, he knows where he is. He knows where he is in his pen. So, as long as they're happy enough, that's fine by me. You'll notice we've got a couple of scarecrows up here and a couple of windmills. We've got a sea eagle around. Comes away most years, and we lost 1 duck down here. I had a couple of buff Orpington ducks. One died of natural causes, and about 6 months later, one got taken by the sea eagle. So I put these scarecrows out, and they seem to be working. You notice the old boy can't actually hold his wings up too well, but I think that's just age for him, So, going up here. This is the creek duck pen. The outside here is just made of poly, and I've got an inside here. I'm actually going to put I'm going to get a couple more ducks to go with them, because if something happens to her and he's on his own, he'll be lost without someone to guide him about. So I'm getting a couple of more buff Orbigan ducks from a neighbour, and we'll just I'll fence a small area off here, put a swimming pool in, and fence off half of the pen inside, and just to get them used to being here for 4 or 5 days. Then I'll introduce them to the rest, and they can go down the creek. If I let them straight down the creek, I know what will happen. They'll disappear somewhere or other, and I'll be charging around trying to find them. Well, up the paddock into the main garden. Quite a big dam here, or lake, pond, whatever you want to call it. You'll see that in a minute. There's a mango tree there. Don't get too many mangoes on it, it's too shady. Same with a lot of the fruit trees. Actually, they did well here when the trees were, all the other surrounding trees were small, but now they're shady. We don't get much in the way of fruit off them. Over on the right hand side, this is a turkey mound, brush turkey mound. That's the male builds that mound. He mounds it all up and acts as a giant compost heap. The females come along, dig a hole and lay their egg, and he then removes and puts on extra whatever it needs to maintain the temperature. He takes off and puts on material. Now they finish with it now. You'll start putting new stuff on probably towards the end of the winter, towards the end of our winter, which is August sometime. They are a bit of a menace because they can scratch stuff for 100 metres, so you can't mulch your gardens down or anything at all, because it all ends up on the pile. Well, what it is handy for, we'll just have a look here. It's great for potting plants, or just put it on your garden, you know, grow babies in it. It's full of worms, and there's a big mound of it, you know. It's great stuff. So that's what I use it for. Big cycad there. Oh, the purple tree you see, that's a tipicina. Got a few around the place. They flower in autumn. Everyone's gotten really mad this year because we've had so much rain. The growth has been phenomenal. A couple of years ago, so you might remember, we had big fires and pretty low rainfall, and it was pretty dry. Orchid there, and those the plant you can actually see on the tree. There's quite a lot of them around the place there. There's a couple more up there. They're called staghorns. They actually fasten themselves to the tree. There they are there. They seem to prefer certain trees. I'm just going to walk down the back of the dam here. That's the dam. Some of it. Bit of a moorhen there. Dusky moorhen. Another tipicina. A few of the wild ducks. They're plume whistling ducks. You can have up to 100 sometimes of these. And there's over the back is the Pacific black duck. You get lots of them. Over this side, this is where the creek, that's right, the dam overflows down here. In a big flood, it'll go through those fish ponds. That's why I've got those barricades up. We've had some quite big floods in the last couple of weeks. Not quite big enough to go through the fish ponds, but it's happened before and I've lost all the fish, all the plants, everything just gets washed out. So I put them up just in case. Yeah, so I've actually got a video of the repairing this spillway, because it really powers over the side and I was getting a lot of erosion, and I actually had to I'll get an excavator in just recently and put a heap more rock in there. It seemed to be working okay with the last little bit of a flood we had. So between there, got a couple of fish ponds here. I probably wouldn't have put them in if I'd known what I know now. I've got them fenced off to stop my ducks plus the wild ducks and the geese all getting in there, eating the lilies, eating the waterweed, eating the fish if they can get them. And then I've had to put fishing line across to stop the cormorants, the kingfishers taking the goldfish. The herons get in there and make holes in the liner. Been a nightmare. I should have yeah, I should have scrubbed the idea early in the piece. Just going to walk up now up to the top of the dam. Bit of a jetty out here. These are a few repairs actually. There's a few fish in there, some good sized fish. There's bass in there, silver perch. I see them quite often in the shallows. Sea eagle actually got one and when the dam was a bit lower, and actually got it on the mud flat, so I got to measure it. It was 16 inches long, so it was a fair sized fish. Must have just plucked it. It must have been just sunning itself under the lilies, and the sea eagle just grabbed it. That's a chippy. She's a new goose this year. We've raised her at the house, and we've been with the flock for 3 or 4 weeks now, but she loves the chat. There's the geese, some of the ducks. Having a bit of a rest, Mr. G and the Gozzies. So you call them, sounds like a 70s rock band. Lucky's the Drake, he's the fellow standing over the back. He's a silver apple yard. That's his father down the front. We called him Lucky because when he was a young bloke, he was just over the other side of the dam there. We came down one night to put him away, couldn't see him, and I looked across and I got a bit of a glimpse of him, the back of him, and I realised something had him. I ran over there, and there was a tree which had fallen over. You can just see the remains of it over there actually, and the snake, the python, had dangled itself, or attached itself to the branch, and was poised over the water and waited till poor old Lucky went underneath and grabbed him, and was actually had him wrapped in the water. I ran round over the bridge and jumped in, grabbed the snake by the tail, and up bobbed the duck. That's his name, Lucky. Everyone's got to earn their names around here. As you can see, we've got plenty of water. Chippy, you going to come and have a chat? Chippy. Plenty of noise. Mr. G's not that keen on me talking to his girls. He can be a bit of a cranky old bugger, especially in the breeding season. Most of the time you can actually go up to him and give him a stroke. And say hello, Chippy. Are you going to have a bit of a chat? Yeah, love a chat, don't you? She actually, she was brought up with a couple of ducklings, so she thinks she's a bit of a duck. And she doesn't sleep with the other geese, she sleeps with the ducks. Although she hangs with the geese, I notice a lot more. A few clean whistlers on the edge there. And the rest, they've got a mix of ducks. There's a couple of khaki Campbells there, it's a blue Swedish. I say Lucky's a silver apple yard, there's a couple of Pekings, Oh, I think the white ones are actually white Swedish, yeah. And a few crossbreds. Actually, must see if I can get a few more. Okay, so that's underneath that cover there's a pump, and that pumps water up from the dam up to behind the main house to a tank, which I use for garden water and that. And it also pumps water over the other side of the bridge here, which I use for duck and goose water, cleaning the mats, things like that. We'll just go over the bridge here. Over the bridge. Yeah. There's a bit of snake poop there, actually, a bit of python poop. And then sometimes they hang off the vine here, and they just poise themselves just off the 6 inches off or so off the ground and wait for something to run underneath them. I can't see it. Bridge is getting a bit rickety now. It was when was it built? I got a bit of a thing there, built in October 1998 in 2 days by the boys. Cost me, I forget how many boys there were actually. I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all mates of mine come up from Sydney, and all it cost me was about 25 cartons of beer, half a cow and a couple of sheep, I reckon, the way they ate. Anyway, I did the job, and she's still standing. Over this side, this is where all the geese, etc. live. This is the geese pen. Yeah, they live in there. They come up every night for food. They get let out early in the morning, so they don't spend much time inside. They put the bed right on dusk and let out first thing in the morning. Down here, you've got a spare coop, or a duck pen actually. I use it for any new ducks I might get, or young ducks, and just to introduce them to everybody else and gives them a part of the dam to swim in. That's the neighbour's place over there. Yeah, so it's just a dog kennel actually, and fenced in. Again, it's snake proof, and I got this 6-foot chain wire for nothing, so that's why I've used 6 foot, probably 4 foot would have done, but anyway. And further down here you'll see just a little neck of the dam, and I've just fenced it off. Quite deep in the middle there actually. Pretty muddy too, you can't wade out there. So that just holds them in this area here. Then when I feel they're ready, I'll let them out with everybody else, and quite often they'll just head on back with everyone else in the evening and straight into their new pen, or sometimes they'll come back to this pen for a few days, but not for long. That works pretty well for me. The back. I used to keep all the chooks up here, but being close to the timber, the scrub and timber and that, I used to get a lot of attacks daytime attacks from foxes and domestic dogs come out of the timber on the ridges here. And so in the end I just said, oh, no more chickens over here. I've taken them all down the front where there's a lot more cover for them with the long grass, and there's a bit of a shade house, needs a bit of work actually. If I get the time I'll do it. A few stuff and bromeliads and shady type stuff. Veggie patch. Don't tend to grow much here in the summer months, it's just too wet. There's too many fungal diseases, and if you're going to grow anything, I'll grow it in the winter months. And what I do is actually, that's a turkey mound there. A turkey decided to build a bit of a mound there. I'll let him do it because it will be good soil in another month or two. So I just usually grow it in pots, because we've got these what you call camphor laurel trees. You can see this big tree here in front of me here. It's a camphor laurel tree. It comes from China, makes great furniture, but it's become a real weed in this area. And the feeder roots, you can actually see them on the ground here, heading for the veggie patch. And once you get feeder roots in there, nothing else will grow in there. So that's what I do. I just grow the veggies in pots, put a bit of wire around them, stop the turkeys scratching it all out. And yeah, got to work with nature, unfortunately. Pointless trying to work against it. You're wasting your time. That's a little mango I put there. I don't think it's getting enough sun. I'll probably have to move that down the front too. This is the duck pen in here. The rubber mats here at the front save them making, otherwise it would just be a mud heap. They only spend the night in here, and they're out again first thing in the morning. We clean them out. Cleaned them out yesterday. Every Saturday we give them a clean out. I say, like to keep our animals nice and clean. Just put new floors in there. Actually, the original floors lasted probably 20 years. And eventually they rotted out, and before I knew how to do it properly, the rats used to get down the sides. And this is the spare one. This is where the chickens used to live in here. Maybe see what I've done to the floors here. That's construction ply on the ground. It sits on bricks. And I actually put some tin black cow iron, and I put it down all the joints, all around the sides, everywhere. And then I've filled the gaps in the shed. I filled that up with concrete. And what I found was, when it was just plain ply all along the edge without the tin, the rats would just chew their way down, or chew their way up if they got underneath. So this seems to, I've learned over the years, this is the way to do it. There you go. It's just in there, just a bit of hay and a bit of extra grain, etc. There's the water for the week. We just pump that up. We've got a hose there which we use to clean the mats off with. All works pretty well. And that's about it over this side, I think. Back across the bridge here. The blue container you can see in the middle of the dam there is the inlet for the inlet for the hose from the pump we suck the water from. Once the sun gets out a little bit, the lilies will come out. Or a pink lily. See a couple out now. And that's where the water comes from. It drains all this. It's quite a big area. I should have shown you. It was at the back. There's a big ridge line up the back there, and all that basin drains into here. So when it comes through there, it rages. Let me tell you, sure rage through there. If you fell in, you drown for sure. You know, we can get I say big rainfall. In 2017 an ex-cyclone came down, tropical low, called Debbie, and we had, in 6 hours we had 800 mils of rain. So that's about 32 inches of rain in 6 hours. It was a big flood. Half of the local town went underwater. Didn't happen. We did a little bit of fence damage here down the front. That's about it. We don't get much sun in a lot of these areas now because of the size. The trees have got big, so I'm having trouble growing any grass here. So I'm just I've actually made this in a bit of a garden. I haven't quite finished it yet. Just with shade loving plants and that. In the top of those other two to a tin, of tubular tin I've got there. I'm going to put a couple of orchids. But anyway, we've got to get that finished. Up the top, only got a little shed unfortunately. A couple of ride-on lawnmowers. And that's the main house up there. Another turkey mound over there. There's about 4 I think on the place all together. And so that's about it. That's our water tank there. We're on, of course, as I said down the front, we're on tank water. That's our tank water there. 10,000 gallons, 45,000 litres. If we don't have any rain, that'll last the tour was about 4.5 to 5 months. So it's pretty good. And it doesn't take much of a rain event to fill it out, put some water in it. So there we go. I'll walk you up the back here because a couple of little things up here. We've got some septic tank there. Bit of a chicken coop up here. This is what any new chickens I get, or young ones, they go in here first. See, I've got shade cloth all around the outside. That's actually to stop. When you've got young chickens, they tend to panic a bit, you know. And a hawk, we get 2 types of hawk. We've got the brown goshawk and the grey goshawk, and they'll sit up in the trees here watching them. And what they do is they get down the ground and they'll hop around the cage and herd all the young birds into a corner and then pull them through the wire, you know. I've seen it happen once, so I've got the it's a pretty dangerous place to be up here. Foxes, wild dogs, you've got wedge-tailed eagles, sea eagle, goannas, etc. So that's just a temporary cage. Yeah, it's one reason we can't have bantam chickens around here, because they just don't last very long. The hawks just pick them off. Yeah. Okay, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Bye.